Bula, I'm Wame. Join me every weekday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on The Center Show with classic hits from the 70s as well as the 80s right here on Gold FM.
On FBC News tonight, Singatoka bus fire trial draws to an end. LTA admits lack of proper equipment to check buses. And relief as the opening of a temporary bridge along Fletcher Road is announced for Wednesday. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spade. The trial of Kamanieli Tuimavana, charged with manslaughter in the 2008 bus fire that killed 12, continued today. Counsels for the state and the defense made their closing submissions in the Suva High Court this afternoon. Chanel Sivan with the details.
Defense lawyer Gavin O'Driscoll, in his closing, asked assessors if the bus driver Kamanieli Tuimavana had done anything wrong that night on board RBL 001. O'Driscoll further said the incident happened 5 years ago and the information given by witnesses did not corroborate and statements varied, adding all witnesses admitted they heard screeching-like sounds of two metals rubbing each other, suggesting that the bus had mechanical problems. O'Driscoll says Kamanieli Tuimavana had completed his 12-hour shift and was tired, but was pressured by his employers Rewanga Buses Limited to take the trip to Nandi or lose his job. According to witnesses examined by O'Driscoll, the bus also did not have any fire extinguisher, but Kamanieli had done all he could to stop the bus when he first noticed the fire at the Yandua village hill. Finally, O'Driscoll pointed out that Tuimavana was employed by the company after the incident but did not continue because he had made numerous complaints that the buses had mechanical faults. In her submissions, DPP lawyer Madonna Fong said Tuimavana had a duty of care for which he breached. Madonna Fong added that despite the complaints from the passengers from Korovo in Suva, Tuimavana continued his trip to Nandi. Fong also said that some passengers got off in Lami after hearing noises from the engine which was not normal, and Tuimavana could have stopped there. Fong said LTA's report also states that the fire was also due to the negligence and arrogance of the driver. She said a driver is always responsible for passengers and their safety. Judge Justice Paul Madigan will sum up the case on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
The Land Transport Authority has admitted not having the right equipment to properly check vehicles that come in for inspection, especially buses. At the moment, all testing is done manually, and the authority says efforts are underway to keep up with the fast-changing world of technology. Vasita Kotawasawasa reports.
The Land Transport Authority kicked off its review of all buses in the country a few months back. What you see here is what happens on a daily basis. LTA officers who have to make do with what they have as there aren't any proper testing equipment.
We are looking at other areas of trying to improve on those devices. We have some with us right now. Our project team are also looking into how we can improve on the technology usage in our departments that are responsible for this, just to assist them in fighting vehicle emission on our roads.
Despite this, Mesa Tuinadeva says they continue to do the best they can to ensure safety on Fiji roads.
Gone are the days where we've been using some of these old machines, and that is what we're trying to do now because of the level of technology there and the volume of work that we need to do. We fully understand the importance of equipping our workforce to be able to deal with this problem.
As for the review of the bus industry, Tuinadeva says bus operators have a lot of work to do.
The fitness is given in that point in time when they came in, but the maintaining of fitness is the responsibility of each bus drivers or bus operators to keep that fitness until the next fitness time.
The LTA says that while efforts are underway to get in the much needed equipment, their work continues in ensuring public safety. Wasita Kotewasa, FBC News.
Good news for commuters who travel through Fletcher Road, Vatuanga in Suva. A temporary single-lane bridge is expected to open this Wednesday. Ritika Pratap reports.
This new temporary structure has taken Fletcher Road almost 3 weeks to complete. This bridge has been closed for 6 months now. Hundreds of people have had to take a longer route to get around. The installation of Bailey Bridge, although temporary, is going to bring much relief and is expected to ease the daily traffic. This is a single-lane steel Bailey-type bridge, similar to those used around the world for emergency or short-term purposes.
As we've said before, that's going to be have traffic signals on that bridge, so it's one way, but traffic signals to allow traffic to move in both directions on that bridge.
Assurances have been made that this temporary bridge that also has a walkway is safe and of international standards. All types of vehicles, from buses to heavy goods trucks, can pass through this one-way bridge. This announcement has been welcomed by residents and taxi drivers who say it will bring much needed relief.
It was really difficult moving around, and it took long hours to get to work because of the busy traffic, especially every morning when the bus has to make 2 different rounds.
We are facing about a big traffic, and some customers was getting wild, and now it will be open. It will be very good for us.
People, especially the students here in the lower campus, when they are traveling towards Nosori side or Lozala Beach side, they have to go a very long way through Grantham Road to reach their destination, and they have to pay more.
The Fiji Roads Authority had announced an indefinite closure of the bridge after detailed structural surveys revealed that the bridge was no longer safe for the public use. The temporary structure will remain until the new bridge is built. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
A 20-year-old man has surrendered to police in relation to the death of a man on the Queen's Road over the weekend. Police have confirmed they are treating the matter as murder. Witnesses told police that the deceased and the suspect were drunk and got into an argument along Queen's Road opposite the Warwick Resort. The victim fell and struck his head after being punched. He was rushed to hospital in Singatoka, where he was pronounced dead upon arrival. The suspect in the case is a hotel worker. A lack of proper transportation services has been identified as a major hindrance to development work in some areas. This has prompted the building of new jetties and the upgrade of existing ones. As Apeli Tukuasa reports, efforts are also underway to improve shipping services.
Transportation is one area where the government is focusing on improving the lives of Fijians, especially on remote islands and in hard-to-reach areas.
This is a big challenge for us, but I think government is working on some programs and some initiatives in order to improve on the transportation, particularly on the shipping to these maritime islands.
Improving shipping services are high on government's list. Earlier this year, Prime Minister Warangiam Bainimarama opened the Rugby jetty. 2 more new jetties will be constructed soon at Ngaraningau and at Malanga Bay Vonoleu.
There are a lot of jetties in our programs for this year and the years to come. And last year, we are through the Ministry of Works, and now the FRA, we are constructing new jetties.
A national survey is underway to determine jetties which need repairs.
Many of the jetties, similar to our bridges, they're in a very, very poor condition, and they need a lot of work just to get them to where they're safe for use and going to be sustainable for the long term.
A 10-year program has been set by the government to improve maritime transportation. The main objective is to wipe out any obstacles in the way of development. Apeli Tukuasa, FBC News.
Still to come on FBC News, Naisoso Island to commence construction on its multi-million-dollar resort.
I wake up in the morning, I prefer to go down to the gym, get a bit of physical work done. Also, later on in the day, I decide to go through for meditation. I do a bit of reading to find out what the latest songs are, a bit of research. And for me, it's all about the listeners.
Hey, what's up? I'm Rio, and this is the Traffic Jam every weekday from 3 o'clock to 7, only on Today FM. Today is hit music. What's up?
Nimbula, methangu nimilote na isorotumua. Nama kia umenarua kina ona na vya kavi moniti kina vakaromuka. Rongo mena vya sana kina vya baka barota kinin reko malolo. Ena radio Fiji wana na wongani vya uniano. Ngai nama kia kina.
Welcome back. You're watching FBC News. Convicted rapist Choseteki Lulu has been granted leave to appeal his conviction by the Suva High Court. Lulu was sentenced to 9 years and 10 months in prison for raping a woman in Nasinu in the early hours of the morning of the 13th of March 2010. He filed an application to appeal his conviction and his sentence, and in handing down his ruling on the application today, Justice Paul Madigan said that according to the facts of the case, the sentence was well within tariff and appropriate. He, however, allowed Lulu to appeal against his conviction. One of the largest property developments in Fiji, Naisoso Island, has secured foreign funding to begin construction of its $170 million Peppers Island Resort project. There had been a delay in starting the project due to the lack of financing available in Fiji. Christopher Chand has the story.
The island developers say it was difficult getting a loan to help fund the resort project because it was not available locally.
The local banks in particular struggled to be able to fund a project of our size. So consequently, we've had to go overseas to obtain our funding for the Peppers project.
Lores says the size of the loan was too big. That is what prompted them to look abroad.
We're very, very proud to say and happy to say we've signed all our loan documents. And we're in a position now where we can say, you know, Peppers is reality, and that's been the hardest thing I've probably had to do in 35, 40 years in business, has been that. But it is now the leapfrog for us to take Naisoso to a whole new level.
Peppers Island Resort was to have been completed by mid-2014.
Certainly the project is delayed, and purely and simply just because of the funding scenario. We're hopeful that once we get into construction, our builders are saying they can accelerate our construction program.
The target is to complete Naisoso Island in another 4 years' time, creating hundreds of jobs and generating millions in foreign earnings. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
The Education Ministry maintains that Nasinu Secondary School will enroll students only as day scholars. Some former students and some parents had questioned the government's decision to close the boarding facilities. However, the ministry says the school has served its purpose in accommodating boarders from maritime schools since 1980. Education Minister Felipe Mbole says most maritime schools now provide Form 7 and students won't have to travel far for secondary education. The land where Nasinu Secondary is located belongs to the Fiji National University, and there are plans to make Nasinu Secondary a model school for education. Students of Nambour Sanatan Primary School outside Suva have a lot to be thankful for. 18 months ago, the school was on the verge of being shut down for not meeting OHS regulations, but now it has been refurbished thanks to the ANZ Bank. Agosita Tale has more.
More than 200 students attend this school, and less than 2 years ago, their future here was in grave doubt. What you see here is a far cry from what the school used to look like, and it's all thanks to the Blue Bank.
It was not just a normal day's work for many of our staff sitting in front of computers in the air-conditioned office, but these were actual physical hard work. You could feel people feeling passionate about polishing the cement or cutting the grass. You know, that you could just feel that it was coming from the heart of the staff, contributing towards the community.
Change to the infrastructure was desperately needed, and the school management is forever thankful.
The INZ has been superb. Their 80 volunteers has worked tirelessly from 8 to 6, 8 to 5, and refurbished a number of almost all our classrooms.
The refurbishment of the school cost around $23,000. It included renovating the roof and walls, as well as purchasing 115 desks and 148 chairs.
In terms of monetary dollars, we had about $25,000 worth of actual spend. However, there were 80 volunteers that did the work over the span of 2 weeks over the school holidays. So it's quite a substantial investment, and we are all very proud to be involved in the community doing this.
The school management believe the refurbishment is timely and will boost the morale of students who will enter their new classrooms for the first time tomorrow when the second school term begins. Aksita Tale, FBC News.
And Jamie joins us now with the latest in sports.
Hi there, coming up in sports tonight, we take a peek into Fiji's biggest sporting facility and young netters who impressed over the weekend now out to stamp their mark in New Zealand. These stories and more after the break.
Bola, oya wasala bilawa. Do pata ke au mena diwa kina tini karona kaloko na single boni moniti kina varomboka. Kako ni valatana no musini sari na kai samariando loloma leone vani ni nau omgori ke de mena diwa kina tini karona kaloko na single boni moniti kina varomboka en Bula FM number 2 en Sere.
सूरज की पहली किरण के साथ दिन की शुरुआत कीजिए। सुबह का मंगल प्रभात आपको शुभ हो। सुबह सुबह हो खुशियों का मेला, ना लोगों की परवाह ना दुनिया का झमेला, पंछियों का संगीत हो और मौसम अलबेला। मुबारक हो आपको ये खूबसूरत सवेरा। हर सोमवार से लेकर शुक्रवार तक सुबह 6 से लेकर 9 बजे तक शामिल रहें रेडियो फिजी 2 पर हम सफर में रविंद्र सिंह के साथ।
Welcome back. You're with FBC Sports. And it's official. The ANZ Bank and the Fiji Sports Council finally put pen to paper today to claim the official naming rights of the national stadium. Elena McDonald was there to witness the event and also checked out the world-class remodeling of Fiji's biggest sporting facility.
$20 million later, the final touches to the ANZ Stadium is being made, which included an official naming rights signing, a tour of the state-of-the-art rooms, and just pure admiration of the new makeover. Now ready for use, negotiations with the Fiji Sports Council on expenses to pay and profits to be made is becoming quite tricky.
Each event organiser can now make more money, even with their 75%, because we will now, instead of having maybe 15,000 in the stadium, we will have 20 to 25,000 people can sit here. So that 10,000 is a lot of extra tickets.
It's an agreement set across the board, but what of the extra profits to be made from outside alcohol and food stalls?
I have to be honest with you, there's a paper has to go to the board on the decisions on alcohol and grog in all our facilities. Internationally, it is an issue that has changed. A lot of the international, especially football, call for the allowance of alcohol to be used in all their facilities that they're using for international games. We're going to have to look at this, so within the next week or so when we have our next board meeting, it will be an issue that we will be discussing.
Logistics aside, many are simply in awe of the latest developments of the ANZ Stadium.
This is what we would have loved to, we played on, 30, 40 years ago, and today we see our children running on it, our grandchildren, and I'm excited actually.
Even better is, a full calendar is lined up, and expectations are this could finally be the time for some big international events to reach our shores. Elena McDonald, FBC Sports.
Fiji finished third on the IRB 7 series after beating USA 14-5 in the plate final of the London Sevens. They lost earlier to Kenya 27 in the Cup quarters. However, Captain Setefano Dakau says they will bounce back in time for the World Cup.
Just thank the boys for their hard effort. I know that we want to win the cup, but we can make it. So, but just thank the boys. I know that we learned a lot of mistakes in this tournament, but we'll regroup again and ready for the next tournament. After this tournament, we did a lot of mistakes. I know that the coaches will analyze on that, and when we reach home, then we'll make it better before the World Cup in Moscow.
Cup and series winners New Zealand outclassed Australia in the Cup final 47-12. And New Zealand playmaker Tomasi Dama says the win was icing on the cake for the team.
We were very disappointed in the few tournaments that we played, but got another opportunity to play in the final again today, and we don't want to let that slip away. And very proud of the boys, especially the young fellas. They step up. I guess it's started home, and with our coach, he's very disciplined, and I guess the way we work throughout the year, we work really hard back at home and at camp, and when we hit tournaments, mentally we have to switch on every time because there's no easy team.
The focus for all teams now turn to Moscow as the World Cup draws nearer. Top Cronulla back rower and former Fiji Mbati Jason Bukuya is bound for New Zealand's Vodafone Warriors next season after signing a 2-year contract. Brisbane-born and of Fijian descent, Bukuya had the most impressive season of his NRL career last year, appearing in 23 of the Sharks' 24 regular season games. In 2008, he played for the Fiji Mbati at the Rugby League World Cup. He's been described as the perfect fit for the Warriors and is the first Fijian to break into the New Zealand franchise. And in soccer, Suva will face Nandi this Sunday in the Fiji Sun GP Batteries National Football League. While the match is a top-of-the-table clash bearing on the league leadership, the capital side will also use it as a build-up to the Vodafone Fiji effect. Shelvin Chand reports.
Suva knows too well that defending a title is always hard, and this is why all remaining league matches will double up as a test for the Fiji fact.
We got 3 important games before the Fiji fact, and those 3 games will be very important for us. This will be a good build-up, and we'll also play Lambasa before the Fiji fact. So Lambasa is in our pool. We can see their strength.
The capital side will be without some key players who have been lost to injury and player transfers.
We don't have the same team which we had last year. Some players are already gone, but I got some young players, very confident of those young players. They have been gelling in very well with the team, and I think we should do well.
The good news, however, is that Suva will get to play in its home ground. There is hope that support will be there when the Whites take the field.
This year, Suva fans will be able to watch them play because first downs will be at the National Stadium. So that's a big moral boost for our soccer team.
First up for Suva is Nandi this Sunday at the ANZ Stadium. The capital side wants to avenge the loss at the hands of the Jet Setters in the first round. Shalvin Chand, FBC Sports.
The Suva under-19 netball team, who emerged from the Fiji Games as gold medalists, will leave for New Zealand next week. As Elena McDonald reports, their weekend achievement was a huge boost ahead of their trip.
Becoming Fiji Games gold medalists on Saturday has served well for this young group of netters who are gearing up for their first ever Trans-Tasman Secondary Schools tournament.
Annually it's played between New Zealand and Australia, but they have extended invitation to Pacific Island nations, and we are fortunate that this year is the first year for Fiji to take part.
The Suva under-19s, under the guidance of former under-21 coach Moa Pevu, will face the likes of school teams from Malaysia, an indigenous Australian outfit, as well as a Pacifica team. But with a good mix, strong combinations are bound to be formed.
With girls from all over the country, especially the top netball schools in the country, we have girls from the West in the team, schools like Natambua, Ratunavula, and we have the schools in the Central Division also represented. It's a well-blended team.
The side leaves for New Zealand next Thursday, hopeful they can return with their first ever Trans-Tasman title. Elena McDonald, FBC Sports.
That's it from Sports Tonight. It's back to Jackie now for business.
Bulakwo, a locally shot movie, will premiere at Village 6 Cinemas in Suva tonight. The movie features Francis Rossi and Rick Parfitt, the frontmen of a famous British rock band Status Quo. Asinate Korobolovola takes a look at the movie.
This is the movie that is set place Fiji on the international stage. Filmed here last year in the aftermath of Cyclone Daphne, Bulakwo is ready to hit the screen.
The public can expect to see Fiji in this movie, that's for sure. It really does show off Fiji as a beautiful country. The whole movie is set and shows off Fiji. It's like a love story to Fiji.
The film stars Francis Rossi and Rick Parfitt, both frontmen from the British rock group Status Quo. Rossi and Parfitt play themselves in this action comedy caper with a great cast. Locals will also see themselves on the big screens.
They just do exactly what they're told, which is exactly what you want an actor to do. And a lot of actors who go to theatre school take the job far too seriously because they come and they try and act. And you just go, no, stop it, please. Just walk out, close the door and say, no, you know, and the Fijian guys just did it. They just got it straight away.
There will be a special screening for the local cast and crew tomorrow, and shows will follow at cinemas in Suva, Lautoka from May 20. Asinati Korobulabula, FBC News.
And our favorite weather lady is here with us now. Jen, any good news to kickstart the week?
And the only weather lady at that. Hi, Jackie. Judging from our map, it was clouds and showers all around the country today, which probably explains the sudden increase in coughs, sneezes, and sniffles. I guess that's not the good news most of us were hoping for, but fingers crossed for a great week ahead. Savasavu was the exception in today's temperatures on 29 degrees, with everyone else in the 30s. Tomorrow sees showers easing towards the afternoon for those of us in Suva. The west will also enjoy some nice fine conditions after lunch, but overall it's going to be a rather wet day. Time now for our photo of the day, as well as our first photo of the week. A very big thank you to Narendra Naidu of Nakasi. He sent in this superb shot of Matandola Beach, taken last Thursday. If you'd like to have your picture up on the big screen behind me, you know what to do. Simply email your original photos to citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj, and like Narendra, you too could have the photo of the day.
Thanks so much for that, Genevieve. And just looking at the headlines again, Singatoka bus fire trial draws to an end. LTA admits lack of proper equipment to check buses. And relief as the opening of a temporary bridge along Fletcher Road is announced for Wednesday. Now to the results of last week's poll, and we asked, do we need more e-ticketing service providers? 80% of you said yes. To this week's question now, can Fiji win the Rugby Sevens World Cup? As always, you can go to www.fbc.com.fj to take part in our weekly poll. Remember to send us newsworthy pictures and videos. Email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj. That's your news for tonight. Until tomorrow, good evening.
नमस्ते दोस्तों, मिर्ची रफ्तार से मैं अश्निल सिंह। शामिल हो जाइए हमारे साथ मंडे टू फ्राइडे फ्रॉम 3 to 7 PM।